Dennis Lehane was born in Dorchester, Massachusetts in 1965. He is an American writer, screenwriter, film and television producer, and academic. Of Irish descent, he studied English and American literature as well as creative writing, and worked as a counselor with mentally handicapped. He currently lives in Boston and teaches creative writing at Harvard University. His 7 novels, halfway between traditional thriller and noir, have counted him among the best authors of the genre. His masterpieces include Shutter Island, published in 2003. It is a psychological thriller from which the movie of the same name, directed by Martin Scorsese, was later adapted. The story is set after World War II, precisely in 1954, in Massachusetts. U.S. Marshal Edward Daniels, or Teddy, in the movie played by Leonardo DiCaprio, together with his new right-hand man, Chuck Hall, played by Mark Ruffalo, traveled to the Ashcliffe Hospital for the criminally insane. It is located on an inhospitable islet not far from Boston, Shutter Island. They are investigating the strange disappearance of patient Rachel Solando, incarcerated for drowning her children. She believes she is still at home, that her children are alive, and that hospital staff and patients are nothing but delivery men, postmen, and gardeners.
Who are these men? Why are they in my house?
However, the mission has another purpose. That is to verify which are the therapeutic methods within the hospital, where it is suspected that experimental therapies against patients are implemented. During the investigation, Teddy begins to have strong migraines and memories related to his past at the Dachau concentration camp during World War II. Moreover, he dreams of his dead wife, Dolores Chanel, who warns him that Andrew Ledis, the arsonist responsible for her death, is inside the mental institution. The continuous hallucinations and the strange circumstances lead Teddy to doubt his own mental health, until the doctor reveals him that the whole story is actually the result of his imagination and the convictions that dwell in his mind.
Your name is Andrew Ledis. The 67th patient at Ashcliffe is you, Andrew.
As a matter of fact, Teddy is no one other than Andrew Ledis, a former police investigator and a World War II veteran. He was incarcerated in the mental institute in 1952 for killing his wife Dolores Chanel after she drowned their 3 children in the pond at home. This event had led him to create a story of its own, with invented characters like Rachel Solando, absurdities like human experiments, and where he was no longer a murderer but a hero and still an agent. This is because he wanted to cover up his disappointment and the memory of what he had committed and for which he could not forgive himself. He was under the care of Dr. Sheehan, the man who in his imaginary reality plays the role of his partner Chuck. This latter, together with the boss at the entire institute, had decided to indulge Andrew's fancy as a last attempt to make him recover reason and accept reality. In case of failure, the only solution would have been a lobotomy. At first, the strategy seems to be successful, and the patient seems to have recovered his memory. But everything changes when the next morning, talking to his doctor, Andrew calls him Chuck again, suggesting a probable return to his parallel reality. Dennis Lehane provides only one interpretation, according to which the protagonist lives a simple moment of lucidity among countless instances of madness. Martin Scorsese, instead, decides to add an extra nuance to the ending. In the movie, indeed, an excellent Leonardo DiCaprio, before getting up and handing himself over to the nurses, turns to his psychiatrist and asks him a question.
Which would be worse? To live as a monster? Or to die as a good man?
Scorsese wants the audience to decide the meaning of Andrew's last words by giving him the possibility to think that he is only pretending a relapse into his psychosis, and that swallowed up by guilt, he wants to be voluntarily lobotomized in such a way to forget a horrible crime that he and his wife committed, and to escape definitively from the ghost of the past. An ending full of doubts and uncertainties that leaves the spectator in a kind of limbo between reality and fiction. Except for the last statement that alters the ending, making it more unpredictable and freely interpretable, the movie is quite in line with the atmosphere of the book. Each chapter has been, with a necessary synthesis, faithfully represented. Lehane provides very detailed descriptions, both of the characters, dwelling for example on Chuck's car, which is not shown in the movie, and of the surrounding environments, from the claustrophobic and gloomy island to the structure of the hospital. A perfectly successful film adaptation that knows how to involve the spectator. Shutter Island is a story full of suspense and mystery, in which reality and fiction alternate, creating a state of total confusion. It is all a charade, a game, a therapy. We realize the greatness of the movie only at the second viewing, when we grasp the meaning of all the strange gestures that surround the protagonist, and understand that everything is perfectly clear from the first half hour. In fact, at the 30th minute, Dr. John Cowley illustrates his revolutionary care method, a kind of role-play based on the interaction between the patient and the doctor, according to which if you treat the patient with respect, listen to him and try to understand him, you may help him in his recovery process. From the beginning, Scorsese leaves out some clues to make us understand that nothing is as it seems. Small details such as Chuck's evident difficulty in pulling out the gun, the music, the migraine medication, the whiskey that reminds the protagonist of his alcoholism, or the question about electrified fans, suggest there is something really strange going on. The patient who greet him and the prison guards who instead keep their distance from him lead Ted to think about such familiarity and suspicion. Rachel Soland herself has the real characteristics of Dolores. Doctors also invent stratagems such as the one written on the paper specially placed in Rachel's room, the Law of Four, who is 67. Actually, the Law of Four represents the mechanism of double personality created by the protagonist through anagrams, while 67 is the missing patient, the most dangerous and violent one, Andrew himself. In short, Shutter Island is a movie that must be seen at least twice, the first time to be fooled and all the others to realize that all makes sense. Introspection, psychology and self-discovery. The greatest obstacle to Andrew's recovery is his refusal to face what he has done. He removes his memories as a defense against the pain and the continued sense of guilt that haunts him. Therefore, the movie highlights serious ethical and moral reflections on the way people face reality. It often seems easier to pretend that nothing is happening or try to forget, instead of facing problems and trying to solve them. After all, Andrew Ledis represents contemporary man, his inability to accept reality and the need to create a fantasy of his own, a world in which he insists on remaining because he feels safe in it. So, which would be worse, to live as a monster or to die as a good man?